Neil, tell us what does this mean? How should we interpret this? Is this a tie, or does everybody get to declare victory here?
In varying degrees. I mean, it was clearly Romney's night in the end. It wasn't stellar. The kind of thing that would really have put a mark on the evening is if he would have, for instance, won in Tennessee and showed the kind of big geographical reach that he wants to show. It was a pretty good night for Rick Santorum. I mean, he has a little more gas in his tank and more claim to charge on. You know, the first guy to go out last night and give his big victory speech, which was filled with all kinds of fire and brimstone and everything, Newt Gingrich. I mean, if you look at the reality, he has very little to stand on. I mean, yes, he won in Georgia. He's now won in South Carolina. But I did the math. I added up all of his finishes and the 20 races he's been in, and it comes out at exactly 3.02, which is to say he's a little worse than the third place overall in all the races. It's hard to see how that puts him up to be the nominee.
And let's hear from what the candidate said last night. Here's Mitt Romney.
What a great night. There are 3 states now tonight under our belt and counting. We're going to get more before this night is over. We're on our way. Tomorrow we wake up and we start again. And the next day, we'll do the same. And so we'll go day by day, step by step, door by door, heart to heart.
But Neil, I mean, a lot of people expected this to be a big win for Romney. I mean, we keep having that expectation and then it doesn't quite happen. Is that hurting him?
It's certainly wearing at him. You know, it's funny, we called this Super Tuesday. If you look back at Super Tuesday 2008, there were 23 states, including California and New York, and there was truly the potential for a knockout blow. John McCain scored huge that night and the race was over. This was a kind of diminutive Tuesday in reality, and there was never the possibility for something resembling a knockout blow, except maybe in the kind of optics side of things.
Neil?
You know, the way he just said it, day by day, door by door, delegate by delegate, that is the Romney strategy. And the reality is they're going to win on that strategy. It's just going to be a little tedious to watch and nerve-wracking for Republicans.
And certainly America's media companies are thrilled that it will be day by day, because that means advertising spending will continue state by state, state by state. Neil, doesn't yesterday's primaries point to the very kind of cobbled together disparate forces currently wrenching at the Republican Party? I mean, you have the evangelicals in the South, you have the more independent minded people in New England. I mean, the Republicans are going to have a tough time come November when it comes to the presidency, won't they?
We're looking at the delegate count right now, and Romney's clearly ahead there. So tell us, what does it all mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely, Evan. That's a very good point. You know, the RNC, the Republican National Committee, this morning was sending out reminder emails showing, you know, what people were saying at this point about the big Obama-Hillary Clinton fight from 4 years ago. But there's just no correlation. I mean, that fight generated massive enthusiasm and interest among the public. You know, the candidates were drawing huge crowds. They weren't trying to out-liberal each other and ruining their support among independents. But what you're seeing here on the Republican side is a lot of frustrated voters, people that are going out but aren't that keen on even the person they're voting for, while there's a big fight for who's the purest conservative, and you're kind of spoiling the pond as you move along state to state. And it's just not a great scenario for whoever becomes the eventual nominee, particularly Romney, who's trying to be sort of semi-centrist Mr. Fix-It jobs guy while having to try to prove that he's more conservative than Rick Santorum.
And Gingrich is still in the race. He won Georgia. He says he's not going anywhere.
You know where he says he's going is straight off to Mississippi and Alabama, and his train is full speed ahead. And, you know, his continued existence points
Let's have a
just
listen to what he said last night.
Go ahead, sorry.
I believe that I am the one candidate who has the ability to debate Barack Obama decisively as far.
Yeah, go ahead, Neil. You were saying big races in the South coming up.
Well, you know, he's off, you know, to the Mississippi and Alabama, et cetera. He's being kept alive by his super PAC, basically. I mean, as I said, you know, he's been slightly worse than a third place finisher overall. He loves to talk about how he just can't wait to debate Barack Obama because that's sort of his chief forte, but he's just not taking hold across the country within his own party, and that's just pretty obvious in the results, except for 2 states where he did well, including the one that he represented in Congress.
And we're looking at the upcoming races there. Any one of those, what do we look to now that Super Tuesday is over?
Well, the reality for the next couple of weeks in particular is it's bad news overall for Mitt Romney. He's not going to win in all likelihood in Mississippi, Alabama. Kansas isn't too promising on Saturday. Maybe Illinois, he could do pretty well. The Missouri caucus is, Rick Santorum won really big in a kind of straw primary vote a few weeks back in Missouri. So the reality is that Romney may have to wait until early next month and then later next month for his next big round of wins. But, you've already showed the delegate gap. He's got a big gap, and it's just hard to do the math that shows how Santorum or Gingrich is going to start to bridge that gap.